After the Communist Revolution of 1917, the new government wanted to take over the system of education. And in a small Jewish town comes a new communist teacher that is now going to be teaching in the Cheder school, where till now boys were getting only a traditional Jewish education. She announces, "Put away your old books of Torah, which are totally useless. Now we are going to be studying only the great Russian literature." And she wants to know if these children are even a little bit familiar with this great Russian literature. She asks the class, "Tell me, what magnificent event that influenced our entire culture took place in 1799? All of the children are eagerly raising their hands. Wow, do they really know the answer, she thinks? She asks the first student, "In 1799, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, Alter Rebbe, was imprisoned on false charges." The teacher is visibly upset. She's asking another boy to answer. "In 1799, the Alter Rebbe was also released from this prison." The teacher does not approve this answer either. "Because of these events, the Alter Rebbe was allowed to spread his teachings, and we celebrate the new year of Hasidism," says the third student. The teacher is really losing it at this point. "Why are you all talking about some old rabbi who is irrelevant to today's advanced communist society? You should all know that in 1799, the greatest Russian poet, Alexander Pushkin, was born. This left a mark on the entire history of mankind." The teacher understands that these kids know nothing about Russian literature, but maybe she thinks they know little of the history. "What happened in the year 1812, she asks. One boy raises his hand. In the year 1812, Alexander Pushkin had his Bar Mitzvah. If you look at everything in the world from a Jewish point of view, if for you the main measure of everything is the Torah, if your point of reference in life is Judaism, then even when you mention a 13-year-old Pushkin, you only think about his Bar Mitzvah. For the reference, Pushkin had nothing to do with Jews and was not a big Jew lover either. Each person has things that he takes for granted and things that he studies from outside. There are things that each person sees as a part of himself, and there are things that he looks at as something external to him. What holidays are the main events in your family, the Jewish ones or the secular ones? Do I calculate my dates according to the Jewish calendar and then translate them into the Gregorian calendar, or vice versa? I almost got in trouble because of this once. When my daughter was a little baby, I brought her to a doctor's office and they asked me her birthday. In our family, we celebrate only birthdays according to the Jewish calendar. I didn't remember the Gregorian date. They began to suspect that this is not my child. A rabbi once told a secular philosopher that he is envious of him. Of course, thought this philosopher, we in our thinking are much more advanced than these rabbis. He should be envious of me. But then the rabbi explained why. You see, you are convinced that you exist, said the rabbi. For you, the only question is whether God exists. I am convinced that God exists. The question I have is whether I exist. Each thinks about their questions all day long. So this way, you end up thinking all day about God, and I end up thinking about myself. That's why I'm jealous of you. And which things do you take for granted? And which things do you have to think about all day?